All right, guys, we're back again. Another episode, LGR Live, Sunday Night Hoops here. Looks like I got the wrong graphic up there, but we know the deal, man. Still the same thing. Talking bracketology. Really enjoyed it last time, kind of going through the brackets and seeing the different matchups. A little bit has changed to the top 25 ranking, so we'll go over those as well. Not a ton of big time matchups, but we did have some top 25 matchups across the state, two or three of those. So we'll kind of touch base on those. But mostly we're going to dive into if the playoffs were to start today, what would be everybody's matchup. But before we get started, man, I want to give a shout out to everybody on our last LGR Live, man. Sunday Night Hoops. Again, we started with the bracketology. We had a huge turnout, a really big crowd. We had, I believe it was over 1,500 people kind of tuned in. And we had about 100 comments. So, again, guys, the more you guys comment, the better the show is going to be. The more we'll be interacting kind of back and forth. So, this isn't just for us to come on here and talk the whole time, man. We really enjoy the comments. We enjoy the feedback, and it helps everybody kind of go back and forth. So, yeah, if you see any big-time matchups, guys, definitely comment those below. Looks like we got one coming in already. Fairview versus Sutherland Lab on Friday. That's going to be a good one for sure. Is that going to be at Fairview or is that going to be at Sutherland Lab? That'll definitely be a good game, man. Sutherland Lab's going all over the place and playing everybody. Coach Kendrick, man, what's going on up there, North Louisiana, man? How's everything going with you guys?
Just a little chilly up here, man. Other than that, it's going, like I said, district in full swing. Everybody's in district, so everything's kind of playing itself out, man.
I love it, man. It's definitely kind of slowing down a little bit, I guess you can say. Everyone's really focusing on district, starting to jockey a little bit, looking at the power ranking. So, we normally do our lives every other weekend, but definitely don't want to pass up an opportunity to kind of talk about the different brackets and stuff. So, nonetheless, man, let's go ahead and jump into it. We don't want to waste any time here. Let me pull it up myself. We'll go Division I, non-select. Again, guys, we're going to go top half of the bracket here. Again, you guys can comment below. Let us know your thoughts, some top teams, some sleepers, matchups you guys like, and we'll kind of ping pong it back and forth again, guys. The more we comment, the more you guys like, the more you guys share, the better the experience going to be, the more we can continue to grow this platform. Again, top half, still Walker is kind of at the top. Parkway is going to be at the bottom. So teams are kind of jockeying themselves, trying to dodge those two more than not. Coach Kendrick, man, I'll let you start off. What's some matchups that you kind of like in the top half here?
Top half in the bracket, man. Again, it's just like we said last week. Going off. I know they had a little step back this week, but there's Ponchatoula. They're sitting at 9 right now, and it would be a rematch of last year's semifinal game against Walker. You know what I mean? So that's an interesting. Can Punchy navigates their way, and if I was Walker, I wouldn't be wanting to see Punchy in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup, man. We were talking about Ponchatoula and Walker talking about them playing in the semifinals and how that might be tough. For those that don't know, Southern Lab had a huge win. They defeated Ponchatoula on Saturday. That was a 1-point win. I still think Ponchatoula is going to continue to kind of climb the power rankings a little bit as the season goes on. But, just taking a glance again, if the playoffs were to start today, Walker's got a tough draw, man. Southside is playing really well. They're not a 16 seed in my opinion. So you'd have Southside there in the I guess their first game. Again, you talked about it. Walker's off for a whole week, so that'd be interesting. So you have Southside. You had to turn around and play Ponchatoula.
Yeah, a week and a half.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Walker, didn't mean to cut you off. Walker would be off these ones with the bye seat. Man, they would be off, play their last game on Friday. They're on the 10th, and then wouldn't play again until the following 2 Mondays. So it's like that's a long way to be off, like a week and a half to be off, man. That's going to be a tough draw, as you were saying.
Yeah, for sure. Like you got some people commenting, man. I definitely think Ponchatoula is going to climb up the rankings, and they'll probably be closer to the 4 or 5 than they are 9. But it's just interesting to kind of take a look at that. Even Ponchatoula Sandoval in the second round would be a great game. Sandoval versus North Shore in the first round. I think North Shore's got the ability to be a top 15 team with Shree Spencer and what they kind of got around them. Who knows who's gonna kind of play well or whatnot in the playoffs. They'll gain a little bit of experience, but it's not really a team that I would like to play in the first round. Hanville again plays kind of they got guard play, so they'll be able to win some games as well. It's interesting. That's what I really like to do, and I like to see these games kind of match up. Where we're 3 weeks out, man. Playoffs are literally right around the corner. So it's gonna be exciting, man. This season.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, man. It's kind of interesting. You may know the answer. I don't. I know, usually the low seed, if they upset someone in the first round, they get to have a home game in the second round. Is that going to be so with these bye people?
No, byes will
because as you see on the screen.
Yeah, the byes will get to hold their place.
Okay. I was just.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just gonna say because.
And then they changed the rule. All quarterfinals go to the lower seed or the highest, however you want to say, the 1 seed. So they changed that a couple years ago. Definitely a good matchup there. Walker versus Zachary. That game's at Tuesday at Zachary. That's gonna be a good one. The Lakeview versus Winfield. I know Coach Kendra, you had talked about possibly streaming that one. That's gonna be a good one as well. I know Winfield's playing well. Lakeview's rocking and rolling. That's gonna be a good one, man. Winfield on a 7-game win streak. Yeah. Lakeview's winning games.
Yeah, we'll be there tomorrow night at Northwestern State University, man. That's gonna be a big one in that gym. So we'll be there live covering that tomorrow night.
Yes, definitely tune in, guys. If you haven't, man, make sure you click the like button on our page. That way you get a notification every time we go live. So we'll try to do a couple more games as we finish out here. And like Coach Clay said, man, Poncha's got 3 games that'll definitely move them out of that spot. If they win a couple of those. So, and Poncha has a really strong schedule as well. So they'll kind of shake out of that. Falling to Southern Lab. Liberty versus Southern Lab on Monday and Bruley versus Southern Lab on Wednesday. Man, Southern Lab is just all over the place, man. And Southern Lab's got Fairview on Friday. My goodness, that is a tough
They want all the smoke, man.
I see that, man. Definitely. Definitely not sleeping on Santa Maria, man. I like Santa Maria. I think I agree with the comment here. They definitely can make some arguments here. If they can get to that 7 spot, get away from Walker, I could see them getting to the quarters or even deeper than that, possibly to the semis as well. I like Santa Maria. I think you can kind of see that with how we have them in the top 25. What else we got? Comments coming in. Again, guys, appreciate all the comments, man. It definitely helps the stream, helps us continue to grow. We had, like I said, over 80 comments last time, so we can get it up to 100 or so. That'll definitely help us continue with the show. Mr. Potsdam, Southern Labs definitely getting in a groove. You can tell that they are challenging themselves. They're continuing to get better. I mean, they were really good at the game we streamed against A-Meat and, to knock down Ponchatoula. Ponchatoula is arguably one of the hottest teams. That's a huge win, and they're going to test themselves again this week. It's a collision course. Let's be honest. It's going to be Northwood Lena versus Southern Lab, and no matter what win, lose, or draw the rest of the season, it's going to be those 2 teams highly likely in the state championship. So I think Southern Lab's trying to get themselves ready, man. Let's take a look at this bottom half of this bracket. Anything kind of stick out to you here? Shout out to Barb. Barb had a huge win over Lafayette after dropping that game earlier last week. So bounce back. They're still holding on to that 3 seed, which is where they really want to be. Chalmette, those that don't know, Cofield, to my understanding, I haven't seen it. To my understanding, Cofield is now back in the state and she is playing. So if that's the case, we'll try to confirm that here soon. But if that's the case, Chalmette at the 10 seed is dangerous for Natchitoches Central there in the second round.
Exactly. Correct.
What's your thoughts on the rest of this bottom half here?
That possible Ben versus Barb in that second. We all know how good of a coach Mary Ward is, man. That's gonna be a tough one for Coach Trey to navigate right there.
For sure. And I think you kind of look back at Captain Shreve came down from that district last year, and they did upset Barb So I mean, that's again, like you said, that's not something you really. Whenever you're looking at the bracket starting today, I'm not really excited about Benton coming down here and a coach that's got several state championships under a belt to come and play us in our first game. You know what I'm saying? So
Correct.
I agree with that one. This is all girls, man. Louisiana girls rankings. We cover all girls sports. So what else we got right here at the bottom half? Let me see. Again, I like to look at this with everybody at the same time. Don't even look at it before we go live. I like East St. John there as well. East St. John, they obviously want to avoid Parkway. They made some jumps with the a big win at our MLK event, and they won some other games this week as well. So they're kind of climbing up the rankings. You can see them getting to that 14 spot where they would play Barb the second round, or maybe even to a 13. I think that would be against Zachary at the top side. So keep an eye out on East St. John as they can kind of put together some wins here and maybe climb up the rankings a little bit.
Yeah, man, and Parkway kind of finding their rhythm, man. They, kind of didn't look like the Parkway we're used to in the past, man. And the other night they played, if I'm not mistaken, Niagara Central, and kind of handled them by 30, 40, or something like that.
Yeah.
Kim Mulkey was in the building. Kim Mulkey was in the building checking out her signee, and that kid, man, she just keeps getting better, man. It look like she's hitting that switch like nobody's going to stop me. And if she's got to take it up on herself, she's looking like she's going to wheel Parkway to that title. And I think, that's the key for them. If she's in that killer mode, nobody's beating Parkway. I'm sorry.
I love it. I love it, man. And 16-1 is 16-1. You know what I'm saying? 16-1 exactly. in the state. So Parkway is definitely in a collision course for what it looks like to be against Walker. And if it's anything like it was last year, it was one of the best state championship games I can remember, where Parkway and Ponchatoula. So I'm excited, man. I think it's gonna be some good games in the quarterfinals. It's gonna be some great games in the semifinals, and whatever two teams come out of this, I think it's gonna be a great game to kind of end off the season. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be the last game of the year. This division is gonna give us everything we can definitely handle, and some more. So yeah, man, Mr. Patterson, definitely just trying to give y'all a little bit of bulletin material. That's all, man. We're just trying to do our part. Coach Clay, definitely. Shout out to Chloe Larry, man. She's been playing really well. Whenever you go out to Duncanville and you perform and the ball is just given to you and there's no play around, you got to go get a bucket. Those kids that can do that play very well. Like, hats off to you. You can go and get a bucket one-on-one or without a play being called at the Meadows tournament. Like, you definitely deserve your flowers. And Chloe was one of them, man. So shout out to her and the whole Parkway team. Let's see. Let's keep going down the non-select side. So we'll go to Division 2. And this is where we got Albany again. They're at the top of this one. Who's some teams that kind of stick out to you here? I do like Bruley. Again, we talked about Bruley beat A-Meet, so I don't see the gap being as big as I thought it was with the 1-2. Bruley might could sneak up and beat Albany. What's your thoughts here with this division?
Yeah, I agree. Bruley looks like they're finding their groove. That win over A-Meet, who beat Albany. Like you said, we were thinking Albany and Wiseman head shoulders above everybody, but it looks like Bruley might have something to say about that. And sleeper is Lagrange down there at 5. I talked to him the other day. He was hoping he could fall back to 6. But we'll see, man. It looks like it's going to be interesting here. Everybody's expecting Albany or Wiseman, but Bruley look like they're going to have something to say about it.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely, you kind of stole my thunder there with Lagrange, man. Shout out to Lagrange. They really climbed the rankings this last time, because we were looking at this last time. I think they were like 7 or 8, so it was like a little crazy of a draw. So with being at the 5 spot, it's a lot better draw, I would say, for them to try to upset somebody in the quarterfinals. definitely not sleeping on Bruley. Definitely agree with the comment here. Guys, anybody have any comments or anything, any sleepers you guys think or who you think's going to win this division? Feel free to comment. Again, we're in Division 2, non-select, which is the public side. We had Carroll at our MLK event, man. I like Carroll as well, man. I think Carroll could even be a tough draw for Bruley in that second round, honestly. Carroll's got a couple kids who can just go get a bucket whenever they need a bucket. They're playing up and down, so that's one thing that may give them a little bit of a problem. I mean, honestly, they could lose the first round game or they could win the second round game. That's kind of how up and down they are playing. Coach Williams has done a great job of getting those girls out and traveling around the state and challenging them. So I think they will be ready for a road playoff game second round. Carroll's not somebody I would want to play in the second round if I'm Bruley or if I'm LaGrange or anybody really.
Exactly. Carroll's not a team you want to see. They over exceeded expectations for this year. Talking to Coach in the summertime, he thought he was going to be a little down a little, but they over exceeded expectations. Man, they're going to be dangerous there. That's going to be that could possibly be a good matchup between them and Bruley there in that second round. That kid that he has is a dangerous kid. I think she's underrated as a player overall, but she can go get buckets, as you were saying.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, that's what you need, especially on the road in playoffs. You need somebody you can give the ball to, and play breaks down, and you just got to go get us out of a jam. And I think they got a shot. Moving down to the bottom half of the bracket here. Again, guys, we're in Division 2, public side. So LaRange is going to be one that's going to stick out to me here at 22 with Mayan moving back to LaRange. Word is that she's back playing. I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but that's what everyone's kind of telling me. So that is not a team I would want to play in the first round with having a top 10 prospect in the senior class. So she's going to be ready to rock and roll come playoff time. Who knows? I mean, they're definitely a sleeper. They can make some noise. South Bow, I do love them. Very well coached. Like where they're at. They're at the 3 seed. Ellender, again, at the 15, got a little bit of a shot. Guards win games, as we like to say.
But if I'm Ellender, man, I want out of that 15 seed.
Yeah, for sure.
I want out of that 15 seed as much as possible. As Coach Holmes is saying there from LaGrange right there, got to watch Ellender. Correct. Got to watch it. And they kind of got the girls back kind of rolling, but 15 is going to be a tough spot to have to come up northeast Louisiana to play at Wiseman in Monroe. Man, that is a tough environment to play in. And whoever gets that draw in the second round it's going to be tough with the four-headed monster they got there and their fans that pack that gym. It's going to be crazy. So whoever's in that 15 is going to have a tough challenge there.
Absolutely. And even to that point, if they move up to 14 and they have where Bro Bridge is at, South Bow is a much better draw for them. They match up a lot better with South Bow. If they can even try to get a little bit higher and try to face on the top side of the bracket, where they are playing LaGrange or North Vermilion or somewhere around those areas, that's definitely going to be a much better draw for them. Looking again, LaGrange, if they can upset Plaquemine, I think the second round game against North Vermilion would then come to LaGrange. So that's definitely, if you are that top higher seed there where LaGrange is and you go on the road with mine and you get it rocking and rolling, I would not want to go back. I wouldn't want, if I'm North Vermilion, I don't want that draw. I don't want to have to go to LaGrange and play against one of the top prospects in the state. Definitely not sleeping on South Bow.
There's that Cubbies right there.
What's that?
I'm sorry. I was saying that comment that was just on the screen that she is back at LaGrange.
Yep. So that's definitely confirmed there. So, that's good to hear. I love to see that kid play her senior year. So shout out to everybody involved in that and getting that done. Kind of hate that it happened to wait this long, but I'm glad to see that she's able to at least play her senior year. South Bow is very deep. I love the coach there. She does a great job, phenomenal job switching up the defenses. They will have those girls prepared. South Bow, honestly, they're gonna have a great scouting report come for Wasserman if it does match up where they're in the semifinals. I don't think that anybody will have their team more prepared than South Bow will. So I could even see them knocking off Wasserman. I think Wasserman's got a little too much size on the inside, but I think guard play wise with their different defenses and stuff like that, I think that they will match up well. I just think Brittany Burton's going to be the difference on the inside. Let's see what else we got.
That's a good, that's a big prediction there, bro. Yeah, Brittany Burton's gonna be the difference there against anybody. You know, I haven't seen South Bowl myself, so I can't say. But if they don't have, what is she, 6'5", 6'6" in the middle, that I don't think they can match her.
Yep. West Feliciana. I mean, I haven't seen West Feliciana, Mr. Patterson, so I don't know. I know they're winning games. I definitely thought they would drop off this year. So shout out to Coach and what he's doing over there. He always does a great job of traveling over the summer and getting these girls prepared. And I think that's what you're seeing here. You know, he's scheduled well, of course. They're winning a lot of games or whatnot, but I think they're building confidence. So I definitely agree with that. That they will have a shot. And, you know, we really don't know where West Feliciana is going to fall at because of their schedule. It is a weaker schedule. So if they win some games, they could still be falling. If they happen to skip up and lose a couple of games, they could definitely drop. But West Feliciana is a dark horse here. What's Coach Clay saying? Plaquemine will be South Bow. Got Madison back from Miami. Yeah, I mean, she's at Plaquemine. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Definitely keep it out. Has she been playing all season, Dale, or she just got back there? Because Plaquemine has been winning games as well. Let's see. West Feliciana and Bruley, same district. Yeah, that's a good point, Coach Holmes. West Feliciana and Bruley, same district. Definitely should be a good matchup to kind of end out the year. So I think that's a good point. That is a very good point from Coach Holmes. West Feliciana will be tested to see how for real they are when they play Bruley. If they can hang with Bruley, hey, we already seen it. Bruley beat Amite, and Amite beat Albany. So, you know, they can really – anybody can kind of beat anybody at that point. So, we'll see for sure. Just got started back. Yeah, so Plaquemine, Coach Clay said she just got back. So, Plaquemine is definitely going to be somebody to keep an eye on if they add some size like that. So, let's move along. Again, guys, I really appreciate all the comments, man. Definitely helps us continue to grow. It helps. I mean, I'm learning here on the fly as well. So, I'm taking a look at it first time with everybody. What you think right here, guys? Division 3 non-select. Comment who you think is the favorite. Who you think are some sleepers? Coach Kendrick, man, I'll let you go first here with the top side of Division 3.
Well, man, Amite, of course. What one team I've been keeping my eye on since we've been doing this, man, is Union Parish.
Yes.
They seem to be rocking and rolling. I haven't seen them per se from home, but everything I heard is they could be legit, and so they could give a tough road to somebody in the semifinals, man. So shout out to Union Parish. I don't know the coach over there, but looks like they're rolling right now.
So again, Union Parish will play Wasserman. They play Carroll this week, so they play Carroll. We'll get a little bit of understanding of where exactly they are. Then they actually play Wasserman on January 31st, since they're in the same district. So I mean, that's definitely going to be interesting because I mean, they beat Bastrop by 17, which is a good win. I think the Wasserman game is going to really kind of set them apart. They beat Gibson Coleman to start the season out. So shout out to Union Parish, man. They're definitely a dark horse that could shake some things up here. That really nobody really
making some noise up north. Correct.
Like
when I talk to people up north trying to get some information about them, man, it's just been like, hey, they're a dark horse. They're gonna make some noise there. And that game, like you said, against Wasserman, it's gonna be an interesting one. And we'll see how it goes.
You know, and again, just kind of education-wise, trying to keep everybody up to date. So the PowerPoint bonus of 1 point, if you're looking at the Go Preps ratings or LHSA ratings or whatever, the district winner still gets the 1 point. So that's definitely something that can shake things up outside of what we have here. So, for example, people are talking about Doyle. Don't sleep on Doyle. I definitely agree with that. But if Doyle is able to win their district, they could even climb even higher than some of these other teams, getting that full point. Doyle is a younger team. Like Coach Price is saying here, very scrappy, very well coached. Good group of kids that have been together, kind of coming up through the middle school ranks. I think they're a little too young. I think it's going to take them another year. But to see them in the top 10 is a surprise to me here. I think they got enough to beat Pine in the second round if it were to happen today. I don't think they have enough to beat Amite, but again, it would be a great learning experience for them to get to the quarterfinals and play against that Amite. You know what I'm saying, with that young team. So definitely cool to see, man. Whenever you take a step back and look at this, Union Parish had to face off against Amite. You're talking about that's not in. You must be talking about in the semifinals. I don't
Quarters.
even know what Union Parish really
Yes.
has, so
Semi.
I'm gonna have to get some film, maybe from Ridgewood or somebody. Maybe Coach Williams can send me the Carroll film. Let's see. Let's look at the bottom half of the bracket as well. Doyle gonna give Amite a little run. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. Those that type of game fits Doyle and kind of what they do. Looking at the bottom half of the bracket here. Again, I'm a big fan of Springfield. I love how French Settlement is playing, and I think they've got a good draw at 3. So I'm not necessarily going to say they're a sleeper at this point. I think they can win games. They've got one of the best freshmen in the state at the guard spot. Her brother was really good, played really well. She'll end up being one of the leading scorers, one of the best kids to ever play at French Settlement. And to see them at 3, led with her at such a young age, is really impressive. So I don't think they're a sleeper anymore. They're already a 3. I like Springfield as a 7 seed to kind of make some noise there. What's some of these teams here that you kind of like at the bottom half of this bracket?
Well, all year I've been a Coach Kelly and Rose Pine fan. Shout out to them. Much respect to him as a coach. He has his girl always playing hard. They take the attitude of their coach and they gonna play hard every game. I've been a fan of his all year, but if by chance he has Mansfield second round, that's gonna be no easy game for them. Coach Kendra Neal, a championship coach, you've seen them, you've covered them with me. They play tough defense. They're young, but she has them locked in on defense night in, night out. So Rosehine's gonna get tested early, even their first game out the gate.
For sure, it's definitely gonna be tough, man. St. Helena, I mean, I think that's another interesting matchup. St. Helena versus Springfield. I mean, Rose Pine is definitely going to be a team that's going to be, like you said, well coached. They can definitely make a run. I like this. I like this division. When you kind of take a step back and look at it, I like the division. I think it can kind of go either way. I do think Amite is the favorite, which is, at the beginning of the year, I don't think we really thought Amite was. I think a lot of people thought they're going to fall off. So, hats off to Brumfield, Irving. The forwards that they have some young bigs as well. But for those people that are in this division, Amite has 0 seniors, not a single senior. So good luck this year and better luck next year. Let's see.
And shout out to Coach Bobby there, man. Winfield, like you said, we said earlier, is on that win streak. Yep. Got Lakeview next tomorrow. If that'll be a huge PowerPoint game for them, if they can get that win there in Natchitoches. And then who knows where they climb up and they start to make noise. And like you say, it's going to be Shake Up City all for the next 2 weeks, man, until we get to February 10th. And even on February 10th, we're going to be looking at the Go Preps power ranking. Coaches are going to be at their desks on their whiteboards in their office with that power ranking formula. Maybe we need to have a session, LGR, where we just do the power ranking formulas for a coach.
That's right.
So,
like kind of to your point, man, Coach Price is saying here, teams, 5 through 16 or 17 area are about 0.5 to 1.5 points away from each other. So it's really minimal. And teams that are winning that district, getting that full PowerPoint boost is going to be huge. Whenever we're looking at this in a couple weeks, and this is going to be for real. So you're going to have some teams that are going to really jump some other teams, and some teams that are going to fall because of that. So it's going to be interesting. Amy does have one senior. I apologize for that. They got a very young team. They're bringing back most of it. So let's move along to the next division here. This is going to be Division 4. I think this is one of the divisions where it's really kind of wide open. I think you could see some double-digit seeds in the quarterfinals as well as possibly even in the semifinals. White Castle is still up at the top. I've been ranting and raving about Oak Grove. I think as long as they don't get a matchup where it's a very heavy press team, I think they can really beat anybody. I haven't seen Homer since when was the last time we saw Homer was at Parkway's tournament in Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Homer was at Parkway's tournament, first weekend of the season.
Yeah, so I haven't seen Homer since then. To see them at the 4 spot, it's kind of a shock to me. I'll be honest. I didn't see much from them at the beginning of the season, but shout out to them to be where they're at. Apparently, they're playing some really good basketball. What's some teams that you like to kind of keep an eye on here in this Division 4?
Well, man, don't sleep right there on Lake Arthur, sitting there at 8. Championship coach, championship mentality. Can they get on a run, so to say, and maybe perhaps upset White Castle in the quarterfinals? And then you're looking at a team that's been there before, a coach that's been there before, know how to get it done. In the semifinals would be, if it came down to perhaps if it lines up like this, if it came down to Homer and perhaps Lake Arthur, if they can get the upset of White Castle, I'm taking that Coach Cini all day.
Yeah, for sure.
At Lake Arthur.
For sure. And I mean, Lake Arthur is going to have the experience from the coach, for sure. They are a rebuilding mode, I guess you can say. Skeeto is playing some really good basketball, so it is definitely a team that you do not want to see, especially at the 8 seed there. Maryville had got hot at one point too. They won several games in a row. It's again, I mean, South Platte. I mean, I've seen them multiple times now. They could get hot. They've got like a little variety of longer kind of team. It's I could see some higher seeds. I could see like Arthur winning this thing at an 8 seed. I could see South Platte making a run, Delhi making a run. You can see really anybody.
And listen, and to your point, Skeeto, she had a great summer with Lake City Pride. She played with that class of 23. She played up, I guess. And man, she had a great summer with Coach Cahey and the Lake City Pride. So she's kind of leading her team this year to kind of perhaps make some upsets in this bracket when it comes down to it.
For sure. And let's move down to the bottom half. Again, you got a lot more teams here at the bottom half that have the ability to make a deep run here. This division is probably the division that is the most wide open. You could probably say, like from what Coach Clay's saying there, that Lakeview is now the favorite. I don't know if Oakdale is not the favorite either. I mean, whenever you're kind of looking at this here, once it kind of gets to that quarterfinals, you can see some multiple teams that are kind of higher. Cadia, I mean, really kind of anybody. What's your thoughts here on the bottom half? And again, guys, appreciate everybody for commenting, man. All the comments help us out a lot. If you guys have any sleepers or favorites in this division, feel free to comment.
Well, listen, Lakeview, as you said, probably would possibly be if the loss that Coach Clay's talking about with White Castle, then you automatically point to Lakeview and say, well, are they the favorite? But here in North Louisiana, man, one team that has been kind of surprising people up this way, and a lot of noise is going on about them, is Arcadia. They're very young, got a bunch of 8th graders, got a bunch of 9th graders, but their campus is all one, so their middle schools get to play, and they're gelling. And they just built a brand new facility there for a gym. and they just went it a couple weeks back. And what better way to Christian it by getting on a roll and perhaps hosting, there in Arcadia there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I saw Oberlin as well, man. Oberlin's got a couple kids that can really shoot it from the outside, so they'll definitely have a shooter's chance. Just kind of looking at this bracket here, they can make a run if they get a kid or two that can kind of get hot and hit a couple shots. So that would probably be a pretty good matchup there. Oberlin and Arcadia there in the second round. Definitely interesting division for sure. But we're gonna move along, man, to the Division 5. Don't want to keep everybody here all night, man. But we could kind of talk about Division 5 all night. That's for sure. Fairview at the top again. This is the one that is just the craziest all the way through. So Division 5. I know we got a lot of fans that tune into this, guys. What's y'all's take on this? Who's the favorite? I think Fairview and Hathaway are a little bit above everybody else. I really like Midland, man. I like what they got going on over there. I know we had some people talking about Anacoco as well as a sleeper. What's some teams that you like here in the top half of this bracket?
In this one, the only team I've seen is Fairview and Anacoco. I've seen Anacoco and I've seen Zawali. So I like what Zawali's got. They have a pretty decent combo there, a good guard, a good forward. They were in the docket when I seen them, and they look pretty decent. So I wouldn't. They could be a sleeper. They're always in the mix, and when it comes down to March, like I said, now you jumble them all together. Division. This is the B and C class, correct?
Yep.
You jumble them all together, and it's like a pot of gumbo. What you're gonna get some good playoff games here.
Yep.
This division you've been ranting about all year. Correct. So Gibbs Coleman with Samara Sampson and Housley, their combo, and then I can't the other kid's names escape me. The little point they have, they're gonna make some noise too. So yeah, this is gonna be very, very good, and I can't wait to see. We might have to get out and cover some of this division here.
Yep. Yeah. We're Mr. Potian. We're just going through all the public side right now, and we'll come back to the select side afterwards. Just kind of mixing up the way we're kind of presenting it to everybody. So last one here on the public side, then we'll switch over to the select side next. Picking sleeper there. I like that. I mean, where are they at? Where are they at right now? Are they on
Must be on the bottom half.
Yeah, let's switch it over to the bottom half then. Again, guys, I really appreciate all the comments and the feedback and stuff like that. Definitely a lot of help. Points will be plenty for sure, man. Reeves not bad. This division will be fun. Hathaway, Bell City, Hicks, Fairview. Points will be plenty. I like that. What you like on the bottom side, man? I like Hicks. Hicks is a little sleeper there at 7. That's crazy. Hicks is at 7, man. Multiple defending state champ. This freaking bracket is loaded, man.
Yeah, Hicks definitely. Yeah, if I had to put money on anybody in this bracket on the bottom side, I can't see who you got down there at the 2 Hathaway. Hathaway just beat J.S. Clark the other night, the other day, whenever it was they played. So that was a big win for them. Hicks, I think I would go with Hicks, as you said.
Let's see who else is some interesting matchups here. Hathaway. I mean, again, going back and looking at the top 25 overall, and looking at Hathaway's resume, man. I went ahead and we decided to move them up a lot. I think they're underrated. Really, even at this 2 spot here, I think they're underrated across the state. Just they have the shooters that just can fill it up. They got the point guard that can get into the lane. She can kick it out. I mean, Hathaway is just nasty, man. I think they're a tough out for really anybody here. I think Hathaway is going to kind of cruise to the finals, and I'm imagining that they'll play Fairview, but I don't know, man. I like this division. I like Gibson Coleman versus Reeves. I like Gibson Coleman versus Fairview. I think the top half of the bracket is a little bit tougher. And some people can kind of comment and
Yes.
let me know what they think. Hathaway versus Hicks in the quarterfinals would be freaking amazing game, amazing atmosphere. What's your thoughts kind of in the quarterfinals and the semifinals and I guess the win it all here, Coach Kendrick?
Well, man, it's so tough. It's so tough. If I had to go with one of these teams to just win it all, and I know I've seen Gibson Coleman. I respect them up here north. Samara Simpson is the real deal. I really like her as when the rankings come out, she'll be coursing our top few. But if I had to put my money on anybody in this division to win it all, I got to go with Fabu.
Yeah.
They're legit as they come. They beat Parkway earlier. That's when I seen them, and man, they're legit.
And I want to give a shout out to both coaches, Fairview and Hathaway, and how they've challenged their teams and are playing anybody, anywhere, any place, anytime. Um, so I mean, shout out to them. It's kind of is what it is with the bracket. They're going to be 1 and 2, but those two guys have gone around and played anybody and everybody, and that's why we got them in the top 25. In both teams, two of the smaller schools in the entire state are in the top 25, regardless of classification. So it's definitely fun to watch, man. I love this division. Let's go ahead and move on to the select side of things, where it doesn't get much easier. So we're in Division One select, top half of the bracket. John Kerr's doing what John Kerr just does. They're winning games. They did come into a little bit of a slump with the, I guess you can say slump with the Sugar Bowl, but all those games are out of state, so none of those count against them. So they're still 13-1. So they'll have the top seed here. I'm going off of, some people were commenting last time about the bracket and how many teams make it. They're saying that maybe 32 make it in the public and 28 on the non-select, the private side. But I'm
When
going
they
off of
change
what's in the
that,
handbook. So I'm not sure. The handbook
that's what I
hasn't
was
been
gonna
updated.
say. I'm sorry, Chris. When did they change it?
I'm going off of what was in the handbook, so I'm not sure if they were voted on it or whatnot. But someone had sent me an article, so who knows what the
Well,
deal is.
yeah, I remember when this summer when they did all the changing and whatnot. It's just like football, right? 28 for the non-select and 24 for the select. That's
Yeah.
what
So
That's what as coaches that was we were told.
yeah, that's what's in the handbook. So that's what we're gonna go with. How many games you have to? Yeah, some really good coaches in this division for sure. You have to play 15 games to be eligible for the playoffs. So
Don't worry, Coach Holmes. You've played enough already.
I think he's talking about John Curtis. John Curtis is 13-1.
Oh,
So.
okay.
What I know you're a big fan of Karen Crow. What's some teams that you like here in this division?
Well,
Warren Easton has dropped a couple games. They fall all the way down to fifth here. Scotlandville jumps them as they're now in 4 spot. What's some other teams that you kind of want to talk about here?
Well, man, listen. As I said earlier this season, when we got into our preseason, who we thought, and I didn't know at the time, Karen Crows, had a girl that point going out. They're long, they're tall, they're big, and with her at their point, man, I really like them to make some noise. But Huntington's at 7 right now, right? I mean 6. They're at 6.
Yep.
I think Huntington being at 6, and I've been riding their train all year, man, and they kind of had took some bumps and bruises there during the season. Kind of got outmatched there in the second half against Walker here last week at your deal, at our deal, and but I really like Huntington, man. They'll be on the bottom half if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yep.
And so Scotlandville, McDonald and they got some new pieces to go with her. I think, they were in the semifinals last year. I can expect them probably to make some noise to try to get back there again this year. John Curtis I don't know how much losing Kofi will hurt them on their run. You know what I mean? But as you said, John Curtis is going to be John Curtis regardless.
Absolutely, man. And I want to go. We got a lot of people commenting Scotlandville. I just want to back up what they're saying. So Scotlandville is 15-7. They have 7 losses. I'm gonna read off their losses: Sandoval, who we have in the top 25, Southern Labs top 25, John Curtis top 25, Albany top 25, Lafayette top 25, Walker top 25, Fairview top 25. And honestly, all these teams that we have currently are in the top 20. So they have 7 losses on the season, and all 7 are the top 20. They don't have a single bad loss, right? Whenever you're looking at it. So I know some people were commenting last stream about Scotlandville being ranked too low in the top 25. Going back and looking at it, I definitely agree with them. I think Scotlandville is a team that will have the ability and will definitely be prepared to make a deep run. Again, they were at the 5. Warren Easton has dropped a couple games, so they jumped up to the 4. At the 5, they were a sleeper. At the 4, I don't think they're much of a sleeper to make it to the semifinals, but now I think they are a dark horse to kind of win it all. They could give they can give Curtis some trouble. If they can get down to the 3 seed, we'll jump down to the other side. If they're at the 3 seed, they would play Huntington. Huntington versus Scotlandville would be a great matchup. I definitely agree with everybody on that Scotlandville run. Now looking here at the bottom half of the bracket, what's some teams that kind of stick out to you, man? I know you talked about Huntington. Anybody else kind of stick out to you?
Lafayette, Narcisse has done a good job with the young squad that she has, been that senior leader to kind of guide them to the 3 seed. Now, I thought they would fall off a little bit, losing as much as they did from that semifinal team they had. A shout out to that comment there. Nobody wants to play Huntington, man. And the way it's set up right there, to Huntington, Lafayette, at Huntington, at Laffey in the quarterfinals would be a good one.
For sure.
Would be a good one that I would pay top dollar to watch. Liberty's got a good coach, but Coach Stroney there sitting there too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's they're gonna be some sleepers, and I think they can make some noise as well.
Yeah, I agree. Coach Stroney's done what he wanted to do. He got his team. They won a lot of games. They are the 2 seed for a reason, I think their draw is a lot easier than everybody else's draw right here, especially on this bottom side. If St. Thomas More happens to fall to the 3, that's going to be a lot tougher matchup in the quarterfinals versus a Huntington caliber team or a Warren Easton. I think they definitely like their draw down there at the bottom, so that's definitely a good point. Lafayette lost a barn burner to Barb. Definitely something to note. Blackwell, the volleyball player that has signed to South Alabama at Lafayette, she is now back on the team, so she adds another presence on the inside. So you have
wow.
You have Blackwell as well as Grace Paul on the inside to go along with the 2 guards of Johnson and Narcisse. So that could arguably give them the extra step that they need to maybe even be the favorite to win this thing.
Man, listen, that's the game changer. I don't care what anybody. That's the piece that Lafayette's been missing all year. I thought when she decided not to play for whatever reason, focus on volleyball is what I heard. I was like, ooh, that's gonna hurt them. If she's back playing, we ran into them in the quarterfinals last year. She is a difference maker. And so that's going to give them that extra mojo they need to get over. I don't like if I'm Huntington sitting where I'm sitting and Lafayette sitting at the 3, I'm praying that Lafayette moves up to the 2.
Yeah.
And that I draw St. Thomas More at 3. So as we know, Huntington's, they like to get out and run, but they're undersized. And that's going to be key to kind of watch these. I was just talking to some folks up north, man, and we were talking at the time. St. Thomas More was 3, and I was like, hey, the last time we were on, St. Thomas More was 3, I think, and I was like, hey, Huntington's sitting good at 6. You know what I mean? But now with Lafayette to be 3, I think Coach Shine would rather play St. Thomas More on in that game.
Yep, for sure. And Ben Franklin is another team that they beat Warren Easton, so it kind of lets you know where Warren Easton's at. Again, Warren Easton's on a 5-game losing streak. Ben Franklin was able to beat them. They're at the 9 seed here. Somebody else talking about Acadiana. Acadiana's been playing well. So Ben Franklin's at the 8 seed. Acadiana's at the 9. Just some other teams that are kind of closer to that 10 spot that could be very interesting. I don't know, man. This is going to be an interesting division for sure. Some deep games in the quarterfinals. Will definitely be some good games. Um, what again, guys? Comment below, man. Let us know what's some sleepers. I mean, I like Liberty too at 10, man. Liberty is
Yeah.
like this is crazy, man. You know, you got Liberty playing Dominican. Liberty has already beat Dominican. That'd be another good matchup. And Liberty didn't have their point guard whenever they beat Dominican, so I mean, you can see Liberty in the quarterfinals versus St. Thomas More. That'd be interesting. Or even like you said, Lafayette jumps up. Lafayette versus Liberty in the quarterfinals. It's gonna be interesting, man. Um, let's go ahead and jump into the next division. And guys, appreciate all the feedback, all the comments, everybody for joining us. So we're gonna kind of roll through these last couple. Um, Division 2, select side, top of the top, LCA, of course. What's some other teams kind of in this bracket that you think we should kind of keep an eye on?
You know, as you just said, LCA is probably the favorite here in this bracket. But when you start talking about championship mentality, you got St. Louis. I think St. Louis Catholics is down at the bottom, right? They're on the bottom side. But the top half of the bracket is blurry on my end, so I apologize, man.
No, you're good.
When I'm looking
So
at it.
I'll kind of talk about it a little bit. So yeah, Peabody at 4. I like Peabody. I do think they have a chance to get to the top 28. I think that would be a great season for them. They are senior heavy. Got the guard, got a forward, and a post. So got the 3 positions that you really need. Now everybody's got to show up on every night. They're not the deepest team, but I definitely think Peabody is a team that I would like to kind of put my hat on it. They'll kind of get to that top 28 as a quote unquote sleeper. Now, if they can get to the 3 seed somehow, and St. Louis, like you said, is at the 3 seed, I could even see them getting to the semifinals. To the championship game. This is gonna be LCA's to lose. But I like Peabody, man. I like Peabody a lot. North Side is still kind of hanging around, very well coached over there. Um, it's going to be some interesting games. I think there'll be a lot of blowouts in the first half of this bracket, but I do like the quarterfinals and the semis as well. Like Coach Holmes saying, people complain about the division select change and everything, but it's a lot of parity, man. All the playoffs will be fun. That's what Coach Kendrick and I was talking about. Do we do this every week now that we're here out? And I love it, man. Like I really enjoy this, going through these breakdowns, hearing from you guys. So I appreciate all the comments. Keeping everybody up to date. Like we said, the breaking news is Blackwell is back for Lafayette. Like that's huge news. I think that needs to be out there, and everybody needs to know about that. I think that's good for Louisiana girls basketball that we're all kind of communicating on that level. But what about on the bottom half, man? Can you see the bottom half a little bit better? You got Vanderbilt Catholic at the 2 seed.
Yeah. I can definitely see that better. St. Louis Catholic sitting there at 3. Championship mentality there. They should easily get to the quarterfinal game. Paris is one of the top top kids in the 2023 class. So I have no doubt that they'll probably be in the quarterfinals at least, and should get to the semis. And then De La Salle, can't sleep on Coach Mike down there in New Orleans, man. And him and Danae is playing real well. And look who's at 15. And he said he wasn't having a good season, but Madison Prep, you know what I mean? Yep. So now, will it be a hard game? I haven't seen Vanderbilt Catholic. You have. Might be a tough game for him in the second round, but like Madison Prep there, sneaking in might be a little higher. I don't know.
Yep, I think if De La Salle can get to the 6th seed where Bunky's at, I think they can give St. Louis Catholic a run for their money. That game's going to be at McNeese, I'm sure, in the quarterfinals. So it's going to be a big time feel. You know what I'm saying? Something happens. If they can get Guillory in foul trouble or something like that. It's going to rely a lot on their stars. You know what I'm saying? Like Danae for De La Salle and Paris for St. Louis. Whoever can kind of play better in that matchup, of course, is going to come out on top. But those teams are unique in how they match up against each other. They're not very deep, very star dependent. So that'd be an interesting matchup if De La Salle can jump up to 6. Um, Vanderbilt Catholic, man, like Coach Clay saying here, man, they're so deep. They're physical. They're gonna be a team that is really gonna kind of run through this side of the bracket, in my opinion. And I think it's gonna be Vanderbilt Catholic LCA in the finals, and it's going to be a good matchup. I know Coach Coleman's going to have his girls fired up and ready to go against Jada Richard on the main stage, and I know Richard and Coach Rogers going to have LCA fired up too. So that's going to be a good game, man. It's going to be some
Well,
really good championship games here.
but I'm gonna predict it right now. If Jada Richards in that final game, man, she'll go for 40 or more.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And Vanderbilt Catholic has the type of kids that are physical, that are aggressive. If the game is called where it's allowed to kind of rough each other up, Richard could have a little bit of problems. But if it's called super tight, she'll definitely go off, of course. But if they allow them to kind of rough them up a little bit, like Vanderbilt Catholic is like a LeGrand, they're gonna play physical, in your face, like get after it. So. And they're going to bang on the boards as well. It's going to be a good game, man. I think Vanderbilt Catholic is a little slept on in the state overall. But jumping into the next division, Division 3 is again another division that's kind of wide open. You look at Parkview Baptist, 17-4 after losing the Twins and still having a 17-4 record. Shout out to them, man. They're having a great season. I mean, I like Newman. I do like St. Thomas Aquinas a little bit more with the freshman I've seen. It makes more sense now how St. Thomas Aquinas is playing and winning so many games. Now he's challenging himself as well. They're 17-10, so I think that's why they are the 3 seed in this division. Who's some teams that kind of stick out to you in your eyes here?
Man, it's as you said, it's kind of wide open. But Holy Menard there, the season that they're having, I don't think anybody would have predicted they would be the 1 seed here. You got their record in front of you there?
23-3.
Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? Nobody would have expected that probably, but so they would probably have to be the favorite here. And it's kind of hard to pick a favorite here in this division. I think we've said that all year long, that this division was kind of wide open.
Yeah, for sure. I think I like Newman. I like Newman. I like what they're doing. We'll go ahead and put them. They're on the bottom half of the bracket. I think it's just a bad matchup against St. Thomas Aquinas. So if they can avoid St. Thomas Aquinas as long as they possibly can, I think they'll make a deep run. I think Newman matches up with everyone else perfectly fine, and it has the better end of that matchup. With the 2 of the best forwards in the state, the best combination as far as the forwards with Anaya and Bean. So they're definitely primed to make a deep run. They're winning some games as well. They'll probably end up being the 1 seed overall, I think, in this division. So that if that's the case, that will get them opposite of St. Thomas Aquinas and give them the best chance. A dark horse that I like Glen Oaks, man. I like Glen Oaks. They play physical. They're aggressive. They got some guard play. They got some wings. I think they can make a run here. I don't like them playing against St. Thomas Aquinas, so they can maybe get a different draw in the quarterfinals away from St. Thomas Aquinas, maybe like a Holy Menard. Like I think that would be interesting to see. But yeah, man, this division is interesting for sure, man. Not the strongest division, but I think that's going to lead for, again, a lot of upsets, maybe some road games in the second round. It's going to be interesting to keep an eye on, for sure.
Most definitely.
Let's go ahead and jump into, St. Thomas Aquinas is nice. Glen Oaks is definitely on the come up, man. I do like Glen Oaks. Jumping in, man. Division 4. In my opinion, there's only 3 teams that can win a state championship here. Southern Lab, Northwood Lena, and Highland Baptist. I love all 3 teams. I like what Southern Lab is doing here late, man. They're really challenging themselves as long as they can stay healthy. throughout these challenges. Like we looked at the Mr. Potts, what's the schedule again this weekend? It is it's Fairview. It's all kinds of crazy teams. So they're going to challenge themselves. I think they'll be playoff ready, as we can say. A very impressive win versus Ponchatoula. What's your thoughts, man? Division 4 here.
And like you say, man, I think all year we've been saying collision course, Southern Lab, Northwood Lena. You know, I'm not gonna sleep on Highland Baptist because you've seen them, and I seen them last year. I haven't seen them this year, but if they're as good as you say they are, maybe they have a puncher's chance, a shooter's chance there, and but I think it's on a collision course to the Southern Lab versus Northwood Lena, and it's just, in my opinion, who's going to be playing better throughout the playoffs, who's going to have a better night that night. It could go either way.
So we got somebody commenting. Coach Clay said Central Catholic has guards. So Central and Highland, are they in the same district? It's the same area. I don't know if they're in the same district. That'd definitely be a good take on kind of where both teams sit there. So Southern Lab is playing Liberty, Bruley, and Fairview. That's tough, man. That's tough, especially.
Yeah, that's tough. How far? I'm not looking at the rankings. Well, I can't look at them. It depends on how far behind Southern Lab is Northwood Lena. You know what I mean? Can they catch them at the 1, and then it turns into something else? I mean, even so, I still think
they're 2 full points away, so they would kind of have to go 0-3 this week to probably have Northwood Lena be able to catch them.
Yeah, and Northwood Lena now, both of them will get the district point, so that washes out. So, like you said, Southern Lab will have to have some trip up here for Northwood Lena to catch them. But I still like the matchup Northwood Lena versus Southern Lab down in Hammond.
So that's a good point right here. Coach Clay saying same district, Central Catholic, Highland Baptist. They're in the same district. That's definitely going to be, whoever wins that game is going to get the district point, and they're going to be the 3 seed. I haven't seen Central Catholic. I like Highland Baptist. I think Highland Baptist is a tough draw for Southern Lab or Northwood Lena. But if Central Catholic is able to beat them, you're looking at the semifinals games being a lot tougher than what we kind of have imagined, because I think Highland Baptist gives Northwood Lena and Southern Lab a run for their money. Of course, Southern Lab Lena is the favorite, but I think Highland Baptist can compete with them. But if Central Catholic is able to beat Highland Baptist, that makes the semifinals even more interesting.
Well, don't sleep on sitting at 4, man. You got Ouachita Christian and Central Catholic pretty much tied for 4th, and Ouachita Christian will probably win their district as well. So you're looking at Ouachita Christian can probably get into the 3 seed. You see what I'm saying? So, it's going to be interesting who's jockeying for 3, 4, and 5 right behind them. But it can change some things, like you said. It can make it more interesting than what we thought it could be.
That's a good point, because whoever wins that game out of Highland Baptist and Central Catholic will get jumped by Ouachita Christian permanently for their district points. So they will be the 5 seed. Whoever wins will be the 3 seed. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on down the stretch in this division, man. That is really going to be interesting, man. Let's see. Southern Lab went off. They say healthy. Don't disagree there. Southern Lab is definitely young. They're going to be really good for a really long time, man. We got some predictions coming out. Southern Lab 43. I like that. Okay. I like it. Hamilton definitely. Hamilton Christian is definitely a younger team. I do think that they could upset somebody. They can get to the semifinals. With McKenzie over there, they'll definitely have an opportunity. Hamilton Christian can definitely beat Highland Baptist or Central Catholic or Ouachita Christian, whoever is that 3 seed. So that's definitely going to be interesting. Hamilton Christian beat Highland Baptist. Interesting. Let's see. Well, that's gonna definitely make it interesting then. If Hamilton Christian beat Highland Baptist, that's 6 teams that can compete, in my opinion, into the semifinals. So it's not as lopsided as we thought it was. Let's jump into the next division. So again, guys, last division here, and then we'll kind of go over the top 25. Not a ton of changes to the top 25, but there's only two big time matchups. Division 5, Oak Hill is jumped up to number 1 after Clark dropped a couple games. I think they're still the favorite here. What's your thoughts kind of on this division? I still think Plainview is a dark horse. Family Christian, I think, will actually end up jumping to the 2 seed. So what's your thoughts on this division here, Division 5?
Last week, man, I predicted Clark to be there in the end. They dropped some. I just hate to see what's going on over there. And I hate it for the kids. Work so hard to put themselves in position to possibly win a state title, and then they get caught up into some pettiness. So it is what it is on that. Like if that situation stays like it is at Clark, I got to go with Oak Hill. Probably winning the state title there.
Yep, and I agree. And I like to see that. I like to see teams that haven't been there get an opportunity. Family Christian is a team, if they can stay healthy, Family Christian is probably my dark horse at this point. To have a shot to come away with some hardware, as they have won before. They know what it takes to get there. They just got to get healthy, man. So Family Christian is probably my dark horse. I like Plainview a little bit as well. But this division as well is going to be wide open. Oak Hill travels so well, and there's going to be so many people at their games. I think they'll just walk to the top 28, and they'll get the support that they kind of need. So it's gonna be fun, man. Let's see.
Yes. Top 25 action.
All right, let's get into it, man. Let's pull this. All right, guys, so we're gonna jump into the top 25.
Yeah, Clark came so far.
Yeah. Yep, definitely have, man. Again, comment below, guys. Let us know any of the big time games we got coming up. Zachary is going to play Walker. Definitely should be an interesting game. Kind of see where both those teams are. I think both teams are excited about that one. I think nobody loses there if Zachary wins. Of course, they make a huge jump. If Walker wins, Zachary kind of knows what they got to work on. So I think that's a good matchup. Excited about that one for sure. All right, let's get into it. Again, there's not a ton of mixing and matching from last time, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the top 10. I'll throw it in the comments here. Where's my YouTube at? I think nobody loses. Whoops. All right, so we'll read them off, and you can kind of give your thoughts again, guys. Anybody can comment below. Let us know who's too high, who's too low. Let's just talk about it and continue to get the conversation started about girls basketball here in Louisiana. Still sticking at number 1, LCA, Walker, Parkway, Wiseman, and Albany. So our top 5 stay the same. Number 6, who was 6 last time? Lafayette. We dropped Lafayette a little bit. Honestly, probably dropped it a little bit too much, especially with Blackwell coming back. So Lafayette falls outside the top 10. You can argue for sure they're in the top 10, but I just thought with Barb, winning that game, throw them in there. They deserve it to get to the top 10. So Fairview's at 6. They jump up a spot. Amite jumps up a spot to 7. Curtis jumps up a spot to 8. Again, Barb was on the outside looking in the top 10. Now they're at 9. And shout out to Southern Lab, man. Southern Lab getting it done with a big town win over Ponchatoula. That puts them from 12 to 10, man. What's your thoughts here on the top 25?
Top 10 there. Top 10, I think with their win over Lafayette kind of put them back into play. One of the top 10 teams in the state. That was a huge win for them, man. And I think, so we're going to see what Southern Lab is about this week. You know what I mean? The next 3 games, we can see they could easily jump up, maybe top 5. They win all 3 of these games. I think we got to put them in the top 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so we're going to see.
For real, man. You can go from, we had them at 16, 18. They won some games. They're at 12. Now they're at 10. Like you said, whenever you're playing that big and that deep of a schedule, you can definitely climb the rankings because I mean they have 6 losses. 3 of them are to the number 1 team, so you can argue they're really 16-3. One of them's to A-Meet, who again is above them. One's to Vanderbilt Catholic, who is below them, but then another one is to John Curtis. So they only have 1 loss to a team that's below them. So shout out to Southern Lab, man. Southern Lab's getting it done. They'll bring back everybody. They had a big win over Ponchatoula, and like we said, Barb beat Lafayette, and Lafayette has Blackwell back, so that was a huge comeback win for them. They actually had to come back and win that game. But let's go ahead and jump into the next. Let's do 11 through 17, so we can kind of save the rest. All right, so 11 through 17. Again, a lot of this kind of stays the same here. The biggest jumps were Southern Lab and Barb, but coming out at 11, Hathaway. I just went back and Hathaway really didn't have any huge wins or anything, but I just went back and looked at their wins, losses. I thought they had enough on the resume after taking a second look to kind of put them up a little bit, So they go from 15 to 11. Hathaway has a huge win over Zachary, so couldn't really justify Zachary being ahead of them. Zachary did nothing wrong, but Barb and Hathaway, just kind of looking at the resumes, did enough to jump them. So Zachary's at 12. Again, they got a big matchup against Walker. We'll kind of see where they're at. Lafayette falls down to 13. You can argue Lafayette could still be in the top 10. Ponchatoula is at 14 after a 1-point loss to Southern Lab. Huntington's at 15. And Scotlandville jumps up from 19 to 16. Again, looking back at the resume, some people were kind of talking about it. The losses that Scotlandville has are all the top teams. So they do have 7 losses, but they're all to really good teams. So that's kind of why we got them where they're at. And then Vanderbilt Catholic 17. What's your thoughts here, man? Middle of the pack here, top 25.
Yeah, like I'm with the people, man, that, it could be an argument could be made that Scotlandville can easily be ranked higher with the schedule, and the teams they beat. They're playing some good basketball. They could easily be perhaps, 11, 12. They could probably sneak into the top 10. But, as we said all year long, all this is going to play out over the next 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And we'll really get to see some of these teams will start playing each other again down the last 2 weeks. And we'll get to see who's better than who, you know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, Zachary and Walker play on Tuesday, so that'll be a good game. Rounding out the top 25, let's go ahead and pop these in here. Again, not a ton of movement. We did have a team drop a good bit, but they're going to hold on to the bottom half of the top 25. The top 25 does stay the same. Same teams. Nobody really fell out. Again, it's tough to kind of move teams around with just 1 week of games. But St. Thomas More stays where they're at 18. Santa Maria jumps up 1 spot to 19. Oak Hill jumps up as well to 20. Bruley to 21. Northwood Lena to 22. Midland, again, I still like Midland a lot, man. As far as we have 3 teams in that small class division in the top 25, which is pretty cool. Actually, no, we have Gibson Coleman. So we have 4 teams in the top 25 in the small class division. That's pretty crazy, actually. And then we have Warren Easton. Again, they've lost 4-game losing streak, and their last loss was to Ben Franklin. So they're down a guard there. Guards win games. So you can kind of see what's going to happen there. They're going to have to shake some things off, figure some things out. They're going to have those forwards going to have to step up. Cam Washington's going to have to step up. Newman's going to have to step up. It's going to be interesting to see. They can kind of hold on, but Warren Easton does what Warren Easton does, just like John Curtis. They'll find a way to get to the top 28 and have a shot, is what it seems like every year. What's your thoughts here rounding out the top 25?
Yeah, Warren Easton. I know we were talking on them before we came on air. Situation they, and the losing streak they find themselves on. But again, I've said it from day one when we started, the season, is that they came up north, lost 0-3 up here, went on their winning streak, and then they got it rectified. Now, kind of on a losing streak, but as you just said, Warren Easton will be okay. They will find a way to get to Hammond.
Yep, for sure, man. My man, some honorable mentions. This just in, Lagrange, honorable mention. Coach Holmes says honorable mention. No, man, Lagrange is playing some good basketball, man. When I went back and looked at the playoffs to see them at the 5 spot's pretty cool. They played really well at the Sugar Bowl, so there's some really big wins for them. I think that kind of solidified their schedule. I know their district is fairly weak, so I think that kind of solidified some wins that they needed to kind of get them over the top there. Let's see what else we got here. Hathaway plays Midland this week. That's gonna be a good game.
Well, listen, man. Yeah, that'll be a good game. If Coach Holmes there, man, if he wins his district, he'll get that point, and he'll win that district. He'll get that point. Maybe he can get the 4. Maybe he can get the 3. We'll see. You know what I mean?
Yep. For sure, man.
So we won't be sleeping on him after too long. I'm not sleeping on him. That's my boy over there, man. Good coach, man.
For sure, man. For sure, man. Well, guys, man, we really appreciate everybody for joining us again. We're going to do this every week here on out, every Sunday if we can get to it. And it's just kind of cool to kind of continue to talk basketball, talk about the playoff brackets. Next week is going to be kind of the last week before. So we'll try to do our due diligence and talk about the district points and stuff like that as well and how that can shake things up. So people, keep an eye on that. When you're looking at the GoPreps rating or whatever it is, whatever the ratings you're looking at, remember that the PowerPoint full point is still in play. So that's going to be something that can kind of throw some things way out of whack from what you're seeing on our show here. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. But yeah, nonetheless, man, appreciate everybody for joining us. Another great turnout. I love all the comments. Everyone kind of continue to give back and communicate across the platform. So that's what it's all about. But Coach Kendrick, man, you got anything you want to leave us with?
Just thank everybody for the comments, man. Continue to grow our platform, man. Remember, we'll be down in Natchitoches tomorrow for that Lakeview and Winfield big matchup there down at the Coliseum there on Northwestern campus, and we'll see y'all then tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I'll try to find out with the Zachary Walker game, see if anybody's streaming that one. That's gonna be a good game for sure on Tuesday night. So if you guys got any matchups, big time matchups, especially top 25 matchups like that, or teams that Lakeview, Winfield, they're on huge win streaks and playing at Northwestern, you guys want us to stream, just reach out to us, man. We'll see if we can make it work inside the schedule. But until next time, guys, we'll be back again. LGR Live tomorrow night. Coach Kendrick will be doing the Winfield Lakeview game. So tune into that one, guys. But until then, man.